Tonight on CTV News, plans for the city's libraries revealed, cricket fans head across the ditch, and it's back to basics to raise funds for the Performing Arts Centre.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening. The council has found the money to build it. The Christchurch City Council voted today to fund $350,000 towards the fit-out of the city's mission housing shelter. The move will fund 3 apartments for families affected by the city's housing shortage and those in need of temporary housing. The funding, which comes from the council's mayoral earthquake relief fund, was $250,000 more expensive than initially thought. The City Mission says that was due to higher compliance costs. Well, another milestone in the rebuild of our city. This time, designs for the Central Library today have been unveiled.
Satisfied with the design of Christchurch's next library, the City Council is now asking contractors to submit tenders to build it. It's prepared to spend $85 million on the nearly 10,000 square metre building, but is asking the Crown for $10 million of it. The council says the design is based on 2,400 public submissions and will include a mix of family-friendly arenas and quiet places, activity rooms, a film and editing unit and a music studio. Along with digital, specialist and print collections, the library will also have a cafe, a 200-seat community arena, exhibition space and outdoor terraces. The design was a joint effort by New Zealand company Architectus and Danish library experts Schmidt Hammerlassen, and the internals are modular so can be adapted to suit changing needs. It was designed in discussion with Ngāi Tahu and inspired by the Canterbury landscape. The new library will be located in Cathedral Square and is expected to open in 2018. It replaces the old Central Library in Gloucester Street, which was damaged in the earthquakes and demolished.
Another Canterbury council is asking for public feedback on its long-term plan, and as the fastest growing district, Selwyn has had a lot of building planned, but at what cost?
The next 10 years of New Zealand's fastest growing district is up for public discussion from next week as rates are set to rise. Residents will have the chance over the next month to respond to the Selwyn District Council's long-term plan proposals, including a new targeted rate system. The average rate increases would be 4.5% over the next 10 years, but rates would vary and some residents would pay more than 6% each year. Under the proposal, the district's larger towns, including Darfield, Prebbleton, Rolleston and Lincoln, would have rate increases of less than 5%. But some properties would experience a rates decrease, including Arthur's Pass, Burnham Castle Hill, Doyleston, Dunsandel, Kerwee Lake Coldridge, Sheffield and Taitapu. On the other hand, properties in Colgate, Leaston, Rakaya Huts and Springston would pay more than 6% each year. The council also plans to invest in roading, with towns like Rolleston and Lincoln growing fast and putting pressures on arterial routes to Christchurch. This will include new roundabouts, resealing work and road widening on key routes connecting to the Southern Motorway extension. A new flyover connection is also planned between Rolleston's industrial and residential areas. An indoor sports complex is proposed for the town, along with new community centres at Prebbleton, West Mountain and Dunsandel. The council also wants to develop Foster Recreation Park in Rolleston, and a new larger park is planned for the town. It wants cycleways from Glentunnel to Colgate, Leaston to Doyleston and Rolleston to Templeton. It's a time for residents to have their say, with public consultation closing in early May.
They're giving back to the community and there's plenty to give. Curtains are coming in thick and fast to the Curtain Bank thanks to the city's demolished houses, and they're being given to those who most need them.
It's all go here for these volunteers, sewing together links of fabric into curtains, going out to a new home. The Community Energy Action Charitable Trust has officially opened its new premises on Chilham Street, changing locations 4 times since the first earthquake in September 2010. And this non-profit organisation's chief executive says she's happy with the new space.
It's a lot bigger than it was. We have had a curtain bank for many years, but we certainly haven't had this kind of facility that we do now.
The bank first took shape back in the mid-90s, with the organisation celebrating its 21st birthday this year. And Carolyn says as time goes on, the bank has improved to provide a great working environment.
It's more organised, it's more efficient. We can put the curtains here when they arrive, they're sorted in this room, and then when they're sorted and put into packs, they're stored next door, so they're out of the way, and then when someone comes here to select their curtains, albeit that they are second-hand, but they're good quality, we then put linings on and we measure to the window sizes. And not just one window, it's now the whole house.
She says they've been busier than ever, receiving a large amount of donated curtains from the public, demolished rest homes and red zone properties, and the demand for second-hand curtains has increased.
Last year was the biggest year for the curtain bank. The year before it was growing. This year we're already halfway through the target that we had last year, and we've only been going 3 months.
2 years ago, they worked with 500 clients, nearly double the amount on the previous year, and now they can help more and more people. Last year, they reached 750 homes in Canterbury thanks to the introduction of the mobile curtain bank, allowing deliveries of their handcrafted curtains around the region. They've moved from 1 to 6 volunteers, working to make curtains for Cantabrians for free who can't afford new.
For people who come here, it's those that can't afford curtains. And we say the more vulnerable in the society. They don't necessarily need to have a CSC card, a community service card. Curtains are very, very expensive. And when we put good curtains that are lined on people's windows, it acts as a thermal barrier, another insulation barrier for the home.
A group of community organisations who refer their clients to this organisation gathered to hear more about the bank and be informed about other heating solutions for lower income households. And the City Councillor says it's an important initiative for every household.
I think there is that recognition of the need that, thermodrapes, whatever it is that are needed in homes, make a significant contribution to people's health, their productivity in the workplace, school attendance, etc. I think there's that kind of lift in consciousness now over the need that we have to have it. It's not an optional thing anymore.
The curtain bank is now open to the public and is ready to help more people from their new space. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
Still to come here on CTV News, living in a cardboard box, and a cricket fan tells it like it is.
Kids television is right here on CTV. Tune in every Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. for an exciting range of fantastic kids programming. Join in with all the fun Saturday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on CTV.
At Bowden Environmental, we specialise in all aspects of resource management, so you don't have to deal with the paperwork. With the skills and knowledge to organise any environmental work, we can guide you through the process from start to finish. From organising consents and farm environmental plans to pump and well testing, Bowden Environmental has it covered. Save time and remove the stress. See the specialist. Bowden Environmental.
Avoid the monkeys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options are also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring moving company.
Oi! Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
Arts 21 showcases the vast creative talent and minds that are making a name for themselves in Europe and beyond. Think outside the square with Arts 21.
Well, to cricket now, New Zealand may have been successful on the field, but some punters have been just as successful with safe bets during the World Cup. Some of the biggest bets placed across the tournament so far include $60,000 on South Africa to beat UAE and $40,000 placed on New Zealand to beat Afghanistan. One punter put down $5,000 for the return of $13,000 on India to beat Australia today, but the TAB doesn't share his enthusiasm for an Indian win. The odds are on Australia to win the World Cup final with a return of $2.10 team. But we all know who's going to win, don't we? One person lost $10,000 betting on South Africa to win Tuesday's match, with the TAB taking in close to $1.5 million worth of bets. Well, they found the money to build the new Performing Arts Centre, but organisers still need $500,000 to install equipment. So how are they doing it? Well, they're getting back to basics, as Jared McCulloch explains.
Tasty treats for a good cause. This talented family duo have been busy baking up a storm, inspiring others through their new cookbook. But it's also helping a major project in the Christchurch CBD, with money from the book sales going towards a new music and arts centre. And the project's director says in this case, building and baking have come together.
We had concerts up at St Augustine's because our building was demolished, and we made a cup of tea and gave them a biscuit or a piece of slice or a cake, and people always ask for the recipes. And 4 years on, we decided it was time to publish them and to raise some money for the new facility.
The development has been named The Piano, formerly known as the Music Centre of Christchurch, which was damaged in the earthquakes. Construction has started on the new $17.5 million building in the Performing Arts Precinct on Armour Street. The Trust, however, is hoping to raise $500,000 to go towards the fittings and equipment through sponsorships and their own cookbook, already reaching $120,000 in a few weeks.
So you can sponsor a seat for $500 and have your name on it for the life of the seat, and choose your seat if you get in early enough. They are starting to go, or there are some people who have done bronze, silver, gold or major contributors.
But Bronwyn says there's a lot of things they are hoping to get from the fundraising effort, saying they're not cheap items.
We need music stands, we need chairs for the practice rooms and for there's some other rehearsal rooms we need a couple of hundred chairs for. We need audio-visual equipment, which is about $250,000. We need lights, so that we've got theatre lighting as well as concert lighting.
Both Bronwyn and Fiona have been baking for over 30 years, with the book being a family affair, taking 6 months to put together, with the idea of making it simple for other people to make treats in a number of different ways. The book has been titled Friday Treats, an easy pick for the two, following a tradition of baking together at the end of every week.
40 recipes, it's 40 weeks in the year that Fiona and I bake every Friday and take it up the hill for them to have a cup of tea. And it started with about 30 people, now there's about 150 who come every week.
This isn't the first time they've raised money through a cookbook. They helped generate $100,000 for the toy library a few decades ago. But for this cookbook, she says it was difficult to let everyone into their secret recipes.
Absolutely. They are special recipes and ones that we've collected over a lifetime, and sharing them is sharing of ourselves very, very, very much.
You may even recognise the sisters from the TV1 cooking show MasterChef, appearing in the last season together.
And we always said, I'd love to do the cooking show, My Kitchen Rules, because that would be something that we could do together, because whenever we got together we always cooked together. And then MasterChef came up where they were doing a duo, so we said, well, let's do that.
They didn't get far in the competition, but I thought I'd ask them to judge my baking from their cookbook. So here's something I've prepared earlier.
Good on you.
Well
done.
These
are pretty good. Oh, that's good.
And you cut the chocolate by hand.
What would you give it on if it was MasterChef? What would you give?
I give it 10 out of 10.
So a perfect mark. The book is available on the Piano website, helping bring this project to life. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
Canterburyans are refusing to miss out on one of the country's biggest sporting events, the Cricket World Cup final. Many are flying to Melbourne for hopefully the history-making match. Marcus Gibbs met one local who can't wait to witness what he hopes will be a Black Caps win.
One of Canterbury's top cricket teams warming up for the World Cup final. OK, so they're not quite the Black Caps, but batsman Chris Harris will be witnessing history this weekend when he travels to Melbourne to see the Black Caps play in the Cricket World Cup final.
Got no words to actually explain how excited I am.
Harris is one of thousands of New Zealanders who'll be sitting in the MCG cheering home the Black Caps on Sunday.
New Zealand hasn't made the final before, so that's good, and it's great that I'm going to be there.
Kiwi cricket fans travelling across the Tasman have been snapping up flights for the historic match, and cricket mad Chris is no exception.
But I did book tickets to the final thinking that Black Caps were going to make it, and I got my way in the end, so it was good.
The Black Caps win in the semi-final against South Africa on Tuesday. Just another great twist in the Cricket World Cup saga. That semi in itself was a historic game, a nerve-wracking match until Grant Elliott hit a six with one ball left, securing New Zealand's place in the final.
It's the most euphoric I've seen New Zealand over cricket for many, many years.
More than 680,000 television screens around New Zealand tuned into the game. Most of the country was on the edge of their seats.
I mean, and it was so nail-biting. It could have gone either way, wasn't it? It was a true slugfest of who was going to win it, and we came out on top.
Pete Smith hopes India wins the semi-final against Australia tonight, not only to get one up over our most competitive rivals, but for the exposure a World Cup match with India would bring for the Black Caps.
Think of the exposure that they will get to a billion audience in India should India make the final. And our lads, there's huge money up in IPL contracts. It would be huge for them. Other side of me says, let's take Big Brother on Australia and give them a hiding.
Meanwhile, Chris Harris thinks New Zealand will end up playing Australia.
I think it'll be Australia, but never know. The Indians might pull through.
Many of New Zealand's sixes would not have been sixes had we been playing at the MCG on Tuesday night in the semi-final. That stadium is much bigger than Eden Park and the boundaries are much deeper.
That will be a factor, won't it? I mean, there's a lot of guys in the Black Caps that have never played at the MCG. They did sneak over in October and have a 3-day practice there, so they know the size of the boundaries. But yeah, it's a pocket handkerchief out into a paddock. It's a big difference.
Bugsy Boogie Nights Harris, as he's known by his friends, also shares the same first and last name as local cricketing legend Chris Harris. But that's where the resemblance stops. You see, the former young gun definitely can't do this.
Childhood hero. Shame he couldn't be here today, actually.
Chris, as it turns out, is a top batsman, but Jared McCulloch is also a top fielder, giving him a run for his money. If the Black Caps need an extra player this weekend, Chris will be waiting in the wings, and Jared's only a short flight away. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
How often do you use your smartphone? Well, there's a high chance as a Canterburyan you don't probably use it as much as the rest of the country.
Canterburyans are most likely to switch off their mobile phones for work calls than any other region, according to the latest results from survey company CanStar. The survey says nearly 30% of Canterburyans will switch off after work and are also the least likely to use mobile phones for work-related calls. Only 23% use them for work. The survey of over 2,000 New Zealanders found Canterburyans are less likely to be caught snooping into their partner's phones or having been caught by their partner snooping on theirs than any other New Zealanders. So is this a sign of Canterburyan conservatism? Well, quite likely. 70% of Canterburyans have mobile phones which use less than 1 gigabyte of internet a month. Canterbury, keeping it simple.
Still to come here on CTV News, the week's business roundup and your region's weather. When you need to know what's happening in your region of Canterbury, join me, Chris Lynch, for CTV News First at 5, weeknights from 5, right here on your local channel, CTV.
Computer not working? Replace or repair? DIY or get a technician? Looking for parts? Thinking of upgrading? Need accessories? You've got questions, we've got answers. Global PC.
The preparation, the devotion, the fearlessness, the intensity. Runway model management. First impressions are everything.
Made to measure interiors, made with care, made for you.
Join Graham Sinclair and the team at Gone Fishin' as they bring you great stories, fishing tips and beautiful scenery. Gone Fishin', Friday night at 8:30, right here on CTV.
Welcome back. Don't forget to join me and the team on News Talk ZB tomorrow. The Power Panel returns, and for the first time this year, new National MP Matthew Ducey will make up part of that panel. Well, now here's Warren Head with this week's Business Roundup.
I'm Warren Head from headliner.co.nz. Well, once again, I'm going to start with milk, but only just a drop this time. Earlier in the week, we had the Fonterra profit result, very disappointing for farm viewers out there. It was not good, and the news is that the dividend's been cut as well. So a bit of gloom outside of town. The milk farm gate price forecast has, however, been held instead of going further south, but it's still not quite good enough. So there's a lot of anxiety out there yet to come. Not much effect on the currency. In fact, the currency went up to about 77 against the US dollar. Things are looking pretty good if you're taking a break over Easter going to Australia. That's very strong as well. And discussion ongoing about whether or not we'll make parity with the Australians. Well, Sunday, we don't want parity. We want to be well ahead of them, don't we, on Sunday? I want to talk about retailers very briefly. We've had two big national chains that are well represented in Christchurch coming out with the results. Pumpkin Patch, a company in the rebuild. I think we've got to give that a lot more time yet, and a lot more work to be done. And then Kathmandu, out with a $1.8 million first half loss. Now the share price dropped pretty quickly, $1.39, 60% down now over the last year, and still a lot of work to be done there. So what went wrong? Well, in that half year, they got stuck with a lot of inventory they hadn't moved. Now, first rule in retailers, you got stuck with the stock in store, you've got to get it out, so you discount it. The retailers called it aggressive marketing. And then you go and regroup and try and get the next season in to work better for you. Well, it's hard to get the top margin when you're discounting too much, but Kathmandu always has a good margin every time it has a sale. So it had a Christmas and New Year's sale, but they didn't pull the dollars like they normally do. And then they put out promotional campaigns, and they didn't score so well either, and dragging in the foot traffic. And then the active wear and the fleece wear was up and down as the sun came out or the temperatures dropped. It was all over the place. So it was a pretty tough market. Worse in Australia. Australians really are directionless. Back on that theme again, but I won't talk about cricket, so no early recovery there. So we're now on to Easter, the Easter sale of winter. So we hold our breath and hope it's better for Kathmandu. This week I went to a business lunch of the Christchurch Businessmen's Club held in the city, and the guest speaker was Tim Hunter from Christchurch and Canterbury Tourism, the CEO there. Well, he didn't really hold back. He talked about the need for the look of the city to be better. Their surveying showed that people coming to town were saying things like, oh, why does the square still look like that? What's the hold up here? What are all those weeds doing in the streets? Is this place open or not open? So Tim had a word or two, and he told us that really the city should have got out and fixed up Worcester Boulevard. Should have tidied up the square a lot better, started to paint some buildings. Now the street art is fabulous, but let's see the paint going on to real properties. It doesn't have to look like downtown Havana. They make it work there, a bit harder for us in terms of encouraging the tourists because we don't have any real unique feature right now. So anyway, what he's saying is the projects are running a little slower. We need convention centres that are built so the conventions will come. A lot of work going on that. There's interest from a lot of hotel brands, but they're holding back a little bit. The airlines, we need more airlines coming in here, but they need more hotel rooms, so it goes around and around a bit of a circle. What he's saying, essentially, I think, is we need a goal. Maybe we set Cup Week this year, and let's get out and paint the city, so to speak. I'm Red Head for headliner.co.nz.
Nothing wrong with the central city. Plenty of car parks at least, aren't there? Well, time now for the region's weather.
Hello Canterbury, let's take a look at your weather. Timaru, you're on 19, Temuka and Geraldine, you are slightly cooler on 18 today. Ashburn and the Methven, you both shared 19 degrees. Rakaia, 19 for you also. Darfield, Leeston and Rolleston, you all shared 19 degrees today. Lincoln and Christchurch, 19 for you also. Over in Akaroa now, it was a slightly warmer day for you today on 20 degrees. Kaiapoi, Rangiora and Amberley, you all sitting on 19 today. Further inland, Culverden, Hamner Springs and Cheviot, you are sitting on 21 today. Kaikoura, 20 for you. Let's take a look at tomorrow's weather now. Timaru, a fine day ahead for you with just some northeasterly winds and some nice temperatures too. Your overnight low is 11, tomorrow's high 21 degrees. Ashburn, another fine day for you tomorrow with mostly clear skies and northeasterly winds. Your overnight low is 11, tomorrow's high 21. As for Christchurch, sunny and mild for you for Friday. Northeasterly breeze is expected. Tonight's low is 11, tomorrow's high 21. Up in Kaikoura tomorrow, mostly fine for you with some long sunny periods and some scattered high cloud here and there, and light to moderate northeasterly winds. Tonight's low is 11, your high tomorrow 21 degrees. Taking a look at the other areas around the region now, Temuka and Geraldine, a fine day ahead, 21 degrees. Methven and Rakaia, also a nice sunny day for you tomorrow, 20 degrees. Darfield, Leeston, Rolleston and Lincoln, you all will expect some sunny skies and 20 degrees. Over in Akaroa, fine weather tomorrow on 21 degrees. Further north, Kaiapoi, Rangiora and Amberley expect the fine weather in the morning to drift through to the afternoon too, 20 degrees. As for Culverden, Hamner Springs and Cheviot, you all share 21 degrees, fine for you also. Looking ahead for Canterbury now, moderate north to northwesterly winds will be in the pipeline for Saturday with a mix of sunny periods and high cloud and just some mild temperatures. There could be some showers possible by Saturday night. As for Sunday, thick high cloud is on the cards with just a few mild northerly winds at first. They'll change to southwesterly later on. Looking to next week, mostly cloudy and cool on Monday, with a few showers or rainy patches expected during the day and some moderate southwesterly winds. As for Tuesday, sunny skies and high cloud and just some moderate northerly winds. Expect some showers and southwesterlies later on. And next Wednesday will be fine and sunny with some southwest winds dying out, turning northeasterly. But for now, that is your weather for Thursday.
And that's CTV News tonight. Have a great evening.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.